Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sammy, the Spanish God. And you, yes, you are wrestling to A2theK WrestleTalk, which you can go subscribe on the YouTube channel. You can go to their Spotify, etc. Listen to the podcast. Make sure you to subscribe, enjoy. I mean, let's be honest. They just got a shout out from me, so they must be somewhat decent. I know they're somewhat smart because they could have got a shout out from someone else like Marco Stunt, but instead they got it from me, and I am a god, a Spanish god. So these guys are awesome in my book. So far, I've actually never listened to them, but maybe I'll go check them out soon. Maybe. I'm trying to clean my place right now, but regardless, this is a bunch of useless information. Why am I telling you that? Regardless, make sure to subscribe, and please put this entire shout out in because I would love to hear where I'm talking about cleaning my place.
So, segment 3. Let's do this then, shall we? So, there's some really fucking stupid fucking things here, right? First one I want to mention, or the first match, it's not just one I want to mention. The first bit of moaning I need to do. So, Jeff Hardy had a match at Money in the Bank. Who was it going to be against Carl?
Well, surely it's going to be Sheamus, right?
Surely, I mean, they've been building it up. Sheamus has been moaning at Michael Cole for weeks for some reason, and they had that back and forth on SmackDown. Naturally, we're going to have Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. Let's get this. Oh, hang on, no, it was Cesaro. Why?
Wrong member of the bar.
Yeah, fucking why? Nobody fucking knows. Jeff had a match against Cesaro. It was a decent match. Jeff won. Still come out to his own.
I didn't even see it. Was it on the pre-show?
It was a pre-show. It was a kickoff match. Again, Jeff's back, and they put him on the kickoff show. Fucking
exactly.
brilliant.
Isn't that fucking mental? That?
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, really don't understand what that was about. Was it meant to be Sheamus and something's happened? I don't know. They never actually booked the match between him and Sheamus, but that's all they've been building to. It's fucking weird. And I was like, okay, Sheamus might interfere. Nope, nothing. I think the guys who were doing the talking bit at the desks on the kickoff show mentioned Sheamus once and then kind of just dismissed it. Really don't know what the fuck that was about. But
funny if Jeff came out and was like, "Why are you always mentioning Sheamus whenever I'm having my matches?"
I know it starts kicking off. But yeah, again, Jeff was back. He was on form. He's looking in probably one of the better shapes I've seen him, to be honest. A lot healthier than I think his last time in. But again, he suffered an injury, so maybe that was why. But yeah, it's looking really good. Can still do his high fly, flippy stuff. And not a bad match, but not the match I would have expected. How did you feel about it, Carl? Did you enjoy it? Do you like seeing Jeff? I think Jeff's overhyped myself, but.
I mean, I completely missed it, to be fair. Like, I knew it happened, but I just I only ended up watching the main show, so I didn't actually see it. So I can't really comment in terms of the match quality or anything. I just think it's mad that they've gone out. Like, spent 4 or 5 weeks going on about this Jeff Hardy, the rise and fall, fucking rise again or whatever, and then it's on the fucking pre-show. It's just
crazy,
makes me laugh.
Really weird. But going into the main show, Carl, I believe we had the Fatal 4-Way tag match was the first one, which was fucking chaos. Absolute chaos. But
I feel like it was less chaos than the SmackDown.
Weirdly, yeah. At least you could go. I think because they hadn't slammed people together to be in a team, you go, well, I know who these people are. Do you know what I mean? So it did kind of work. And I'll be honest, I was a bit surprised with the finish. I didn't think New Day were keeping the belts. I don't know how you felt on that. I didn't think it'd be the Forgotten Sons just yet. I don't know why, but in the back of my mind, I was expecting Miz and Morrison to get them back, which would have been an odd thing to do anyway. But I don't know. For me, I was expecting New Day to lose them so that they could become 9 times and break Dudley's record. Stupid reason as it is. They can't have the championships to become the 9 times, can they? So I was expecting them to lose them again just so that they could break that record.
Yeah, I think for me, like, they've been playing hot potato with them tag titles a bit, haven't they? So sadly, I didn't think that they would have made them lose it just yet. So I think it was the outcome I was expecting, but I thought the match itself was fine. I think everyone got like a decent chance to shine in it. So it was fine. But I feel like
it did its job with the Forgotten Sons. Sorry, go on, mate.
I was going to say, just because they've got shitloads of tag teams, whereas Raw doesn't have any, I still feel like they're using too many tag teams. It's like the Usos fucked off, so why not just do New Day versus Miz and Morrison? Why has it got to be everyone else? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think the proof's in the pudding there because like this was a fatal 4-way tag match for the SmackDown tag team titles, and we had nothing for the Raw tag titles, like nothing at all, and that's because there's no one really for them to go up against. But Yeah, I mean, you're right about the hot potato thing as well, to be fair, mate. This is why I wanted them to stay with Miz and Morrison for a bit longer. I don't get why the quick jump over to the New Day again, other than to say 8 times. I don't get what that would have done for them. But yeah, it makes sense to keep them on them for that reason, that you can't keep moving the belts around as frequently as you do. And they probably are a victim to too many tag teams in some senses. But that being said, I've not been big on the Forgotten Sons up to now, but they had a good show there. If they'd have won the titles, I'd have probably been kind of annoyed that they got them so quick. But it was a decent match for them, and it puts them over a little bit, in all fairness. So I think it done a couple of jobs there, that match. Right, so the next match, was it the MVP Chaos?
I think so. I can't remember the order of them, but that definitely happened.
I just can't remember if the women's match came first, but I want to talk about the MVP stuff now. So we had also that's one note, actually. This is probably the first time in a while that I've seen R-Truth get his full entrance.
Yeah,
we got to see the whole damn thing and then a little rap at the end. He had all the time in the world to walk out to the ring. I was quite surprised. Normally they cut him. But yeah, so R-Truth was meant to have a match against MVP, which was booked at some point. I don't know. And then MVP, is he affiliated with Bobby now? I don't even know.
I don't think so.
I'm starting to wonder, is he going to represent him? Is he going to join the other two? I don't know. But basically, R-Truth annoyed, really weirdly annoyed MVP because he was trying to teach him how to do the balling thing. And there's a bit of goofiness, typically what you get from R-Truth. And then ultimately Bobby Lashley comes out and tells MVP to have the night off. And apparently that's how bookings work. And I go back to this again. Who the fuck controls bookings in this fucking place? He's told him to have the night off. R-Truth's going, can I have the night off? And he's like, no. It's like, he's not any sort of management. Why are you asking him if he can have the night off? Why does he give MVP the night off? What the fuck is this? So then the match just randomly turns into R-Truth versus Bobby Lashley. And as you'd expect, Truth got battered. And I don't know if it's necessarily fair to call it a squash, because there was a little bit of offense in there, a little bit of ducking and diving, but he was up against a monster who ultimately, when he got his hands on him, battered him. So it probably was a squash. But it's what R-Truth does, really, isn't it? He puts people over.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't feel like a pay-per-view match for me. This, I mean, it's always nice to see R-Truth and stuff, but I don't know. It just felt a bit like something you'd see on Raw. So I just thought it was a bit out of place, to be fair. But yeah, it was a match. It happened.
Yeah, craziness. All right, so then we'll move on to the women's SmackDown title matchy thing versus Bayley and Tamina. So we had Bayley come out with Sasha Banks in tow, typically. So a lot of people waiting for it, aren't they? They're waiting for it. They're waiting for the betrayal. The betrayal is going to happen at some point. It didn't. She was a loyal friend, and she's the reason that Bayley got the win as well, because she managed to distract. Not as bad a match as I thought it would have been. I'm not big on Tamina in the ring, but overall they weren't too bad. It weren't too long. It did what it needed to do. I don't think it did anything for further in this potential feud between Sasha Banks and Bayley, because she did what, other than people going, oh, I don't know. She actually was just a good friend. She sort of got the distraction, and she distracted Tamina, and then Bayley managed to get the win. The only thing I'm not overly big on is they do this sort of coward heel thing with Bayley now, where she's like afraid to have a match with Tamina, even though she's actually quite good in the ring, because she's like, oh no, don't. But it's like, well, I don't know, you put some good offense in there, so why would you be that scared? I don't know. Strange. But do you have any feelings on this match?
Not massively. I mean, I think it's nice to see Tamina actually. You know what I mean? She's done more than I ever gave her kind of props and credit to be able to do. I thought, the video package beforehand, and the match itself and stuff. I feel like she proved that she can kind of hang as a singles competitor. That being said, I don't think this feud's really going to go much further now. So I don't really know what's left for her. If that was it and it was a short run, then so be it.
Yeah, you take a straight loss to the champ. I mean, she's not really entitled to another shot, is she? So I don't know where they're going to go with her. It's funny, I forgot to mention that, but they do you not think the video package that they gave to Mina sort of felt a bit Firefly Funhouse like? with the animation and her behaviour and everything. It was like she's trying to be friendly to Mina, but she's not always friendly. And she even done the whole thing where she's really friendly and then puts a really serious face on as it closes out. It's she definitely took some notes there Or I certainly think she did anyway. And it wasn't bad, by the way. I'm not criticising it for that because he's well over, isn't he? But just almost an interesting female parallel to him. Right, and then the next match, speaking of Bray, is Braun versus Bray. And I don't really know what I wanted with this, I'll be honest with you. And there's one thing that would have saved this for me, and I'll spoil it for you now. Or that's for you, Carl. You've seen it. Bray took the loss here, and it wasn't the Fiend; it was Bray. Right? We had some weird sort of fuckery where Braun put the sheep mask on and looked like he was going to end up being loyal to Bray, got on his knees and done the whole hands thing, and Bray's like, anyway, right? And then no, he took the mask off again and battered him and got the pin. That was weird. Now, I don't have an issue with Bray losing because Bray was selling it like almost as if Bray and the Fiend are two different entities in the same body, and a similar thing to the broken mat thing, I suppose. But when Braun was there with the mask on and he's going, I knew it. I told him. That's what Bray was saying. And I'm like, it's almost as if, to me, the way Bray was trying to sell it is that he's convinced the Fiend that he can win Braun back. And that's why it went the Fiend. That's why the Fiend went the one in the match, because Bray's almost gone to him, no, don't. I can win Braun back over. So the whole thing would have been fine for me if, before Braun walked away from the match with his belt, with his victory, the lights went out and come back on, and there's the Fiend. That's all they had to do. But instead, Braun wins and walks away happy, and that's it. We have a slight look back at Bray, but I'm totally happy to go into to carry this feud on and go into a match between him and the Fiend.
I think
on
that's
the
what
basis of that. But
because even though he didn't like have the lights go out and stuff like that, he did show like a bit of fiendishness, didn't he? So when it cut back to Bray in the ring, you kind of see some of the little glitches and stuff and the like the Fiend type stuff. So I do think that's where they're going to go with it. But
yeah, it's just a shame at a time when you can actually do a bit of video editing, and they could have had him appear even though Bray was lying in the ring, for Bray to suddenly disappear and be in front of him as the Fiend. They had the time to do that sort of editing. It's just a shame they didn't, and it would have added something for me. But I do like the way it was sold, in the sense of like Bray almost sort of was trying to having that argument with the Fiend, and that's why it was Bray having the match. I quite like the way they put that together. But I don't know. For me, I would have Braun. Maybe I'll change my view the longer the run he has. But Braun for me was a placeholder. It was always meant to be Roman who won the title anyway, or who had the match anyway. So he's a placeholder champion, and I wanted to see the belt go back to the Fiend or back to Bray. I really don't know how I feel about that match. I do think, like you say, they're clearly building to him and the Fiend, but still.
That's it. That's the only saving grace for me, is the fact that he beat Bray, which I suppose is okay. I think if the Fiend takes another loss and stuff like that, then straight away he starts to become just not as powerful or not as much of an omen as he once was. So at least it was Bray that lost, and I think if you bring it back and have him go on against the Fiend, then the Fiend surely has to go over. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult really for him to come back.
Yeah. What I really don't want them to do with Bray now, though, is to have them allow him to protect the Fiend the way that Finn Balor protects the Demon, to the point that you never see the Fiend because Bray has to keep losing. That'd be a shame if the Fiend doesn't get an outing, because they don't want to put Bray over at the moment. So he gets to protect the Fiend, but consequently we just see the Funhouse Bray all the time.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But nevertheless, it wasn't a bad match. And like you say, hopefully they're building to that, and that was the saving grace for it. Now, you're heavily invested in Drew, Carl. You're a Drew mark. You wear the Drew shirts. Or you would, Carl, if our dedicated fans would buy you one. God.
I know, guys. Come on. Where's my shirt? Sat here naked.
Okay. So we have Drew versus Seth. Now, did this pay off as much as you wanted it to? Was this the outing you expected it to be?
I thought it was really good, to be fair. I don't think it was incredible, but I did think it was really good. I feel like we haven't seen the best from either of them yet. But that being said, for an empty arena match, and like with all the build up and stuff it did deliver for me. I did think it was really good. There was like nice things in there where Drew kicked out at one, which is it's mad that this doesn't happen more often. Do you know what I mean? Like, every time you pin someone, why is it always for two, like a count of two? Do you know what I mean? Why not just have
or
someone,
two and a bit?
Well, exactly. Like, why not even just kick out before a one count sometimes? You know what I mean? It's just, stuff like that just makes it feel a bit more real, and kind of you're more invested in it. But I thought the match itself was really solid. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. What did you make of the end?
I thought it was fine. I think it was always going to be, it was never going to be a squash or anything like that. I feel like, Seth got some good offense in, and I feel like, it was always going to be a Claymore ending, wasn't it? So it was. It was a nice way to do it, I think.
Do you think they're going anywhere with it? I mean, we had that sort of awkward acknowledgement with each other at the end as well. Do you think they're going anywhere further with it, or do you think that's sort of Seth and him done for now? Or
I don't know, really, to be honest. I think, the Monday Night Messiah isn't going away. He's got new entrance music and everything now. So
I know, I meant to mention that actually. Yeah, I quite enjoy that. I think it suits better to his current gimmick than the burn it down stuff. Because when you're a Messiah, when you're Jesus, like, you don't burn things down.
Well, exactly. It's quite the opposite, really. That's if you're the Monday Night Devil, isn't it? So, but yeah, so I don't know. I don't feel like that gimmick's going away. So if it isn't to carry on with Drew, then I'm not really sure where he goes from there, because the whole kind of gimmick is he wants to be the leader of the locker room, and he needs to be after the champion if that's the case. So I don't know. I think if the rumors around a potential Drew and Jinder feud are true, then I could see that kicking off kind of soon. But I don't know. I don't think it'll be one and done. I do think they'll carry it on to some degree. I just hope it's not full of shenanigans and fucking Murphy and stuff. I hope it's just like a Seth thing.
Yeah, I was happy with the fact with this match that there weren't any real shenanigans. It was nice to see. I don't know if you picked up on it, but Samoa Joe was on commentary again.
Yeah, it seems like a permanent fixture.
But because it worked well for this as well, because obviously he was around for the start of the way Seth has been. So I think at the time he was saying like, "Oh, this is what I was trying to tell you about when he started with this shit and stuff like that." And it's like, yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense, and it works well. I quite like him on commentary, and I never thought I'd say that, but there you go.
Yeah, he surprised me, to be fair.
So lastly, we'll talk about we have to kind of talk about the last two in tandem, because they happened in tandem. So we had both the Money in the Bank matches taking place at headquarters. And I'll be honest, it was a lot more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. I know we previously mentioned that there'd been some speculation that this could be very hit and miss. And I personally think it was a hit. There were some things that probably didn't, that might have, like the bit with the clown was kind of weird. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think in terms of the win, I don't know. I mean, I'll start with the women's. Like, I was actually quite happy with the win. I think we mentioned earlier, Asuka took the win on this one, and for me, it makes a fair bit of sense. I was surprised in a way because, like you say, the way they've been booking certain people up to this point, being the likes of Nia Jax and the likes of Shayna and stuff. It's quite surprising that Asuka got the win, but I'm glad she did, because she's been very enjoyable. She's a credible wrestler, and she's been strong in NXT. They kind of ruined her first run when she hit the main roster, so hopefully this means good things for her. How did you feel about the women's side of things, Carl?
I mean, I was made up with Asuka winning it. I'd obviously thought it was going to be Shayna, or even like a dark horse with Nia winning it. But I don't know. I feel like it was weird, the fact that there's only 3 of them in there at the end. Like, I don't even know where the fuck Shayna ended up at this point. To be fair, she was just disappeared, didn't she?
Yeah, it was a bit weird that. Yeah, but I suppose that was always meant to be the idea, that like the place is like a maze, and not everyone will necessarily make it to the top, kind of thing. But yeah, they seem to have really just dropped Shayna now, don't they?
Yeah. I don't know. It does seem like an odd one, but I'm obviously happy for Asuka. I think she's a fantastic wrestler. I think we alluded to, after she lost the tag titles, it seemed like she was going to have a singles run. I don't think either of us were expecting it to end up going on to win the Money in the Bank, though. But
yeah. And to be fair to her, in terms of high spots, straight out the gate, she was the one diving off the balcony and stuff. So fair play to her. She put it work in as well.
No, yeah, she did really good. I just hope now that they don't have a go after Charlotte with the NXT title to kind of rekindle that, because even though I could see it being potentially okay, I don't want to move her onto NXT.
I agree with you there, but I don't think she's going against Becky. I think she'll go over to SmackDown. She's already been on SmackDown a couple of times with Bliss and that. And I don't know why. I've just got a gut feeling that they won't want to drop the the man's belt, as it were. They won't want to drop Becky's belt to Asuka. And I think if they go for the cash in there, I think it'll probably be a failed cash in, which would be a shame. I say it sooner. I'm anticipating that she'll aim towards SmackDown and go against Bayley.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like her and Becky have fought not too long ago because obviously she'd never defeated Asuka, had she, and stuff. So I feel like that's already been played out anyway.
Exactly, yeah. But it'd be interesting to see, and I think it was a good choice. Certainly not one I would have predicted. I'll be honest, I was expecting Baszler the whole time.
Same.
And then we had the men's Money in the Bank. I certainly would never have fucking predicted this one, Carl. So, firstly, I will mention the winner that Otis actually took the win. Okay, madness. Now, we for some reason we had to have Corbin in the picture towards the end. I really don't know why they're so big on Corbin, but he was there. But luckily, it was Otis who took the win. I don't really know how I feel about him in the title picture. He can now cash in whenever he likes on any brand. Like, can you see him going up against Braun? Can you see him going up against Drew? It doesn't work for me. I'll be honest. I like Otis, but in the main title scene, really.
Do you know what? I don't even like him that much anymore now. I feel like he annoyed me throughout most of this match. Like really just like overplaying this. Like, oh yeah, ooh, like I don't know. He came across as fucking annoying.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've never been a big fan of like that. He talks kind of like, forgive the terminology for anyone who's easily offended, but he talks kind of simple. Do you know what I mean? And I hate that because it's clearly put on, but it kind of bugs me. It's like, I get it that you're blue collar, but you don't have to sound like a fucking moron. But nevertheless, I've never minded him where he is in the tag scene or in the mid card scene. I can't see him in the title run. Would anybody want him to go? Let's say the Fiend gets the title back. Don't want that, right? Don't want Otis versus the Fiend. Let's say Braun keeps the title. I don't want Otis versus Braun. I don't want Otis versus Drew. It just doesn't work on any level for me. Looking at the main event stars, so it'd be a pointless cash in. I'm not overly thrilled with the winner, but certainly for shock value, yeah. Why not?
I mean, it was definitely a shock. I wasn't even a fan of the finish as well, to be fair, because it reminded me a little bit of the tag titles at Mania, that kind of finish. But it annoyed me the fact that both AJ and Baron Corbin had got hold of the briefcase. Then Elias obviously did show up eventually and smashes Baron Corbin, so we get to see that continue. But then AJ's got hold of it for a good second or so before it slips out of his hands. So the ref could have rung the bell at that point because he stood there with the briefcase. It's not like you have to have the briefcase and end up with your feet on the floor. It's just have the briefcase, which he did.
Yeah.
So really, AJ won that match. He just then dropped it. Like, there's no rule that says you have to keep hold of it for a certain amount of time or anything.
That's a fair point. That. Yeah, I'm not sure what the established rules are on the Money in the Bank, but you imagine it's similar to like a ladder match for a title, where once you've got the title off the hook, that's you've won.
Exactly.
So yeah, a bit of an unusual one, that really. But maybe that's going to be part of it. Maybe AJ is going to take umbrage to the fact that he didn't win it. I don't know, but they can't take the case off Otis now, so they're stuck with that fucking decision.
I mean, it's got to be a failed one, hasn't it? You can't have Otis as your champion, surely.
No.
So.
Well, that's the thing. It's got to be a failed attempt, and we don't get them too often, but it's got to be one, surely, or not a very long run. So, in terms of the shenanigans, how did you feel about the HQ gimmick?
I think it played out better than I was expecting. I thought the match itself was really fun. There was just some fucking stupid shit in there, though. Like you mentioned before, the clown. Like, what was that meant to be? Doink? Because it didn't look anything like Doink. So
that's the thing. It clearly went Doink. So, do we have a random clown at HQ? Is that what that is?
Exactly. So that was weird. The Paul Heyman fucking buffet thing was weird.
I quite like that.
It's just like
proper ready to tuck into a sandwich when they all rock up. That did tickle me. That.
But why on earth would Paul Heyman, a very smart man, be there in catering with a big fucking buffet during the time he knew there was going to be a fucking, you know what I mean? He just wouldn't, would he?
Alone as well.
Exactly. So, I mean, I get it. Obviously, it's not real, is it? And it's just for fun and games. But I don't know. I just thought that was stupid. The Stephanie McMahon thing didn't work for me, where Dana fucking gets the briefcase. That was just stupid. You could tell Stephanie wasn't there because the quality of the footage was awful. So you could tell she recorded it at home. So that was shite. And then the Vince thing, like I thought it was funny. I got a chuckle, like the way they put the chairs back and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like and then random shit as well, like John Laurinaitis and Brother Love, and I don't know, like it was just quirky as fuck, wasn't it? Like some of it was okay, but I don't know. I feel like more of it like failed to land than actually did land. But
Yeah.
the concept of like the action where they're kind of fighting in all these different places and stuff like that. I did like that. I thought it was good. They do tend to do really well with these kind of pre-recorded like weird kind of gimmicky matches. So I feel like this was no exception. But I'm pissed off about Otis getting it, and I thought some of the things they did just didn't land.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Overall, I don't think it was the car crash that some people worried it was going to be. I think it did it did land well, but it wasn't perfect. Yeah, I mean, I'm almost quite glad Alistair didn't like he was there, but I'm glad it weren't a big win for Alistair because I wouldn't have been behind him either, to be honest. Well, he'll get back up again. He'll get knocked down, but he'll get up again.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely interesting that they had Baron Corbin like kill both Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black. I thought that was a weird decision.
We should probably have a mention of Shayna Baszler choking out Rey as well.
Yeah, that was just random as fuck as well, wasn't it?
It's funny. Yeah, I mean, it was. I suppose that's some of the issue with this Money in the Bank. Like, without the massive gimmick of HQ, it was a very weird put together of people, wasn't it? Like, it was a bit of a real mixed bag this year. A real mixed bag, like having the likes of Ray in there and Otis in there. Just it's a really strange one. But yeah, I don't even know who I wanted to win. I'll be honest with you. I suppose the best one for me to win would have been AJ, but I suppose he's had plenty of runs there, so it wouldn't have been good for building anyone up. But no, overall, wasn't too bad. Are we giving this one a rating?
I don't think we can. just because of the craziness of the main events. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Yeah, it's not your typical, is it? So probably wouldn't be too fair. But yeah, I really don't know where they're going to go. It'll be intriguing to see. Obviously, we are recording on a Monday. I believe Raw's already started, so we'll have Raw to talk about next week. Well, we'll have them all to talk about this coming Sunday, and we'll probably have a bit more of a picture of what's going to happen going forward with certain angles. I mean, the Money in the Bank, they usually fuck around for a few weeks, don't they? Walking around with it rather than doing anything with it. But yeah, we'll see where they go with it. I'm just really not looking forward to whatever Otis does with this.
No, same.
And that is segment 3. That is Money in the Bank.
We are done and dusted.
Done. So again, thanks to everyone for listening who does listen. Thanks to Carl for listening who does listen. And yeah, I mean, obviously we started to say this in every week now, but we are available on social media. We're available on YouTube. We're available on anywhere you find your podcasts. All you need to do is type in A2theK and you'll find us. And with that being said, we'll see you all next week.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.